Welcome Exiles to Bait or No Bait, the game show where we determine whether or not a build is worthy of the local trash bin or whether or not it belongs as a trophy hung upon your prized wall, shown off for everyone to see in all its glory. Now let's get into it. First up, we have Tripolar Bear, bringing us some classics like Corrupting Fever Champion and the Bone Zone Slayer. Now, at first glance, you might think those look pretty good, but if you look a little bit deeper, you look a little bit further within yourself, you'll think, why on earth is Tripolar Bear posting guides for max roll? Isn't he Ru2's publisher? Well, in fact, he is Ru2's publisher, and there is actually a complex legal battle ensuing, because Ru2 doesn't have the capability to post his own builds given his feeble little cat paws. He needs Tripolar Bear to do that for him. Unfortunately, Maxroll has swooped in to take his top talent, and there is a large legal battle ensuing. And that, unfortunately, means as PoE players, we don't want to get in the middle of this, because in that lawsuit, they are naming people who play this builds as liable for damages, aka we're going to have to pay money. Due to this, we need to label the build as
what is happening?
Because we all know we just spent our last $30 on wings, and we cannot afford to pay the cat himself the rest of our hard-earned cash. Next up on our list, we have Mathel, who comes in at a...
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. We didn't cut this? Guys, the other picture with the build guides. This is the one that was supposed to go to my personal folder. We can't cut this? The show is live? Since when are we doing this thing live? I thought we edited it in post. Okay. Exiles, well, what you can see here is roughly just pure evidence that Mathel's guides are good. As you can see, he makes some good builds, and we actually, with our full stamp of approval, we can recommend Mathel, and we are going to move on now. Next up, we interrupt.
Well built IRL, well built in game, dude. This Mathel builds right there, homie. Straight up, straight fact. It's true. I'm telling you, there's a correlation between being ripped and being good at computer games. Look at me.
This broadcast to bring you a shocking story. Target Cat has been lost for days now. It appears he is in some sort of wilderness survival environment. If you've ever seen the show that Bear Grylls is in, where he has to drink his own pee and whatnot, this is a similar situation. This is utter danger. I'm worried for his safety. I'm worried if he's even still alive. So this is more of a beck and call. So could we get a search party together who could handle the intense radiation of the sun to bring Tarky Cat home to safety? This is just a message I want people to hear in case there are people capable of saving this man's life. Because I've never set foot outside, but maybe there's somebody out there that knows how to navigate the wilderness of the outdoors.
What am I doing?
Back to normal builds, we have Gazzy himself, the Minion King. Unfortunately, if you've done your research, you know that minions are actually a gateway drug into playing with link skills. GGG is trying to trick us into playing link skills. Gazzy is also a messenger of this, trying to seduce us into the dark arts of pressing a link skill. Now, I gotta be honest with you. Minion skills, they are powerful. They are maybe fun. Maybe they promote some level of lazy, feels good, sit back and watch Netflix gameplay. But let's be honest, people. The last thing we want is to end up pressing a link skill or ever trying to learn what the hell link skills even are. So unfortunately, we have to label this as pure bait, as a gateway drug into link skill dementia, where you forget what it's like to have fun playing Path of Exile. On a much lighter note, we have Subtract him with Fire Trap Elementals. And I mean lighter note because he's going to light you and his enemies on fire. This build is so hot, the thumbnail actually changed from a normal reddish orange tint to blue, white, hot fire. This is intense damage. Unfortunately, because this build deals so much damage, we can't reasonably suggest it as a league starter because it threatens to disable your ability to learn mechanics in the game because you're killing bosses too quickly. That is a clear problem. Which
trap cucks it all stupid and OP as fuck
will result in a player that doesn't know what the hell's going on or why are we even playing this game because the bosses are dead before they do anything. It simply just isn't healthy. And as such, we need to label it as bait. Following up Subtracting, we have Crouching Tuna, and he's giving us what looks to be a very clean Impending Doom guide. This build was rocking the highest charts you could imagine. Good damage, good defense, and all around excellent build, and Crouching Tuna has really put together a clean guide. All in all, we simply cannot label this build as bait. Is what we would say if it wasn't for this video here. Steel Mage is planning to play Impending Doom. And if you know anything about Steel Mage, you know he's a hardcore player. And hardcore players, they tend to take softcore player builds, cut the damage in half so it's unplayable garbage, and then add in defenses so we can't even enjoy our
So that's what Steel Mage does, bro. I've seen it. It's actually 5-bit. He gets like whatever the most overpowered meta softcore build is. He just guts all the damage out and then makes it tanky as fuck. He's like, all right, this is a good build now.
Portals, which clearly means that he is going to ruin this build. Even if Crouching Tuna has a good build guide, he will infect the populace with his hardcore mentality.
Shit.
And as such, unfortunately, Crouching Tuna and Steel Mage, you are both bait, and that is the facts. Speaking of the facts, we got a Bone Zone Juggernaut from Wooly and a Bone Zone Slayer from Karn. The ultimate debate that just seems to never end. What build should you play? Is Slayer superior or is Juggernaut? The answers are unclear. The data in
Jug is better. Jug is better. You can always get more damage. You can always get more damage. Okay? You can always get more damage. Defense ultimately is king. Facts. Facts.
Inconclusive. If you're planning to start Bone Zone, just know
Then again, maybe Instant Leech Slayer DR. Maybe an Instant Leech Slayer with DR. Do you know what? Maybe. Yeah. Instant Leech Slayer. Actually, I don't know. That is some new technology that exists that Slayers can abuse. Perhaps that will be the saving grace of Slayer.
You're at risk of playing the inferior, subpar version if you roll incorrectly. Maybe this league we'll finally know which one is truly the Bone Zone play. Unlike Bone Zone, a build that's good on League Start guaranteed, we have some outliers.
I've seen the Steel Mage clip. He looks at both, and he's got some shitty POV where he hasn't optimized this jug properly, and he makes it look like the jug is weaker and does less damage. He just hasn't got the build right. That's all. That's all. That's all. There's just better defensive options on a jug. He probably didn't have endurance charge ticked or some shit. Okay, dude, there's no shot. It's like, explain to me how the Slayer is going to be tankier than the jug. Explain.
So 18 mil, 147. What happens expecting jug? Oh, what a surprise. A jug literally worse in every single fucking way. Every single fucking way.
Wait,
Less tanky.
Let's see it. What's his armor right here? 82k armor. Pathetic. That's pathetic. Yeah, well, let's see that. Let's see that within you at least have 200k armor. Okay, buddy. All right, pal. You need armor. You really do need armor. You need armor to get that fucking bad boy ramping. Okay, that's not enough. 82k armor. I get 82k armor. I stick it up my ass.
Dark horse in the race,
Straight
if you
up.
will. A Val Eyeshot
Stick it in my ass.
enjoyer Arrow himself. Now, if you know anything about bows, you might know they're terrible on League Start. So what if they got +2 proj on the tree and Vengeance Cascade for double damage? I'm pretty sure they still suck. AKA, they're bait, people. Don't go down this dark road that leads to nowhere. Speaking of risky League starters, Allie herself...
Bows is going to be OP with that return bullshit. Do they all just have double damage built into their fucking character now? Like, I don't know. To me, it seems like that one node where they made that change where everything just comes back. It's going to be like perma double damage, and they're just going to all be completely overtuned as fuck.
Self is bringing us a Caustic Arrow build guide. Unfortunately, if you look a little bit closer at the fine print of the title, it doesn't say just Caustic Arrow, which would be a legitimate build. It says Caustic Arrow Death's Oath. A nail in the coffin, if you will, for this build ever being good. Here's the thing you gotta know about Death's Oath players. They simply don't understand math or the fact Death's Oath does no damage. So, I'm gonna tell you how it works. Death's Oath does 500 base damage per second. Any real skill at level 20 does roughly 2,000 to 3,000 damage per second. Do the math. The skill is garbage, people. Sorry, I'm just getting a little bit heated here in the studio because Death's Oath is a soft spot where I believe it has a chance to become a viable build someday if people stop being delusional and start asking for buffs instead of huffing on the copium and pretending that Death's Oath is actually doing something in their characters and not just being carried by caustic.
The OP thing about Death's Oath is you run around and it kills stuff without you doing much. That's what's OP. And then if you make it like automatically explode shit, then just you run into packs and they just explode. But it doesn't carry. I mean, it's never gonna carry. It's like RF, right? At home. Yeah, exactly. You play that shit on a cultist with the auto curse, auto explode shit. You run into packs. Okay, you get to a mob that's tanky.
Arrow and Profane Bloom. This, of course, is classic Death's Oath propaganda. Do not fall for it, folks. Now, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'll say it 3 times. Palstron is unhinged, he's out of control, and once again, he's trying to convince the global populace that totems don't feel terrible to play. People, trust me when I tell you this, totems are not fun. In POB, they might have a slightly higher number than a real character, but that does not mean they actually get that damage, because I'll walk you through this. You spawn your totems, and then the boss one-taps your totems, and then you waste a bunch of time spawning your totems again for a boss to one-tap your totems again, and you go back and forth, and you're actually dealing literally 0 damage, because they're dying on repeat, leading to the least fun playstyle imaginable. People, do not play this build. It is pure bait and will not be tolerated on the Bait or No Bait show as anything other than totem lies. Next up, we have Quin69, the God Gamer himself.
Oh, shit.
And word on the street is he is actually going to attempt the hardcore, solo self-found, ruthless, Uber kill boss event.
What?
But he's not going to just stop at 1 Uber or 2 Ubers. He's going 7 for 7, and you can bet he's going to do it without stalling. This man would never let us down and become some beta cuck who ends up playing some lame league that actually has movement skills and actually has real gear. No, he's going to show us what a real God Gamer can do in hardcore, solo self-found, ruthless, Ubers, world first. You've seen it here first, folks. It's going to be on Quin69's channel. Tune in roughly 2 years from now when he completes this goal. Following the God Gamer, we have Ventura, a seismic saboteur enjoy.
That is fake news media, bro. What the fuck?
Now, I once was of the belief that we should nerf Seismic Saboteur, but after watching Ventura's stream for the past week, I have come to the realization this man is on the brink of depression. I say we pool together our resources to convince GGG to rebuff Seismic so that way Ventura doesn't leave us for good out of sadness, not wanting to play the game without his favorite build, Seismic Trap, to protect him from hard, difficult encounters. Following up the God Gamer himself, we have Ventura. This isn't really a build review per se. This is more of, I have to admit I was wrong. I was on the side of voting for Seismic to get nerfed. But after seeing how sad Ventura was that he couldn't fall into doing the same meta build for the 15th time in a row, I too became a little bit sad. And I think we should all pool together to get Seismic buffed again, so that way Ventura has a build that he can play again instead of having to go into the hard world of build making and plan something new for once. Speaking of smiling, we have Pox, a man with a thumbnail so bold, so confident.
What the fuck, dude? What is going on? Holy shit, this guy's a Giga Chad, dude. Look at this guy. Look at this guy just uploads. It's just a screen cap of him looking at a skill tree with no points in it, dude. Holy fuck. What, dude, is it? He just says one build, right? RF. This is like, he's basically, you know, Khan. He kind of co-opted, let's be honest here. He kind of stole Bone Shitter. I was the Bone Shitter Andy, okay? Now, do you know what, Khan take? I'm going to let Khan take over as the face of Bone Shitter at this point. This is like the face of RF. This is the ultimate RF enjoyer. This guy's the ultimate RF enjoyer. Straight facts. He's like, I don't even understand how you can play RF that much. I mean, that's crazy that people can do this. Just pick one build and just repeatedly play the same build.
you can't help but think, yeah, that guy's getting it every single night. And when you think about that, you realize it's probably because Righteous Fire is just that good. Now, I gotta be honest, folks, I was gonna try to pretend I was baiting you and try to lie to you and say Righteous Fire wasn't actually good, but we all know that would have fallen flat. You would have seen right through me because it's clear Righteous Fire is not bait, and Pox's guide is what I would see as the peak, the pinnacle of build guide creation. Please check out PoxRF. This is not an ad. He did not pay me. I just believe in good builds.
How many RF variations do you think he's done? Like, actually. Like, how many? He would have, like, gone to every RF thread, looked at every RF variation, every RF setup. Like, I mean, you know, he's done RF, like, as a fucking, you know, dude, done RF as a chick, then, you know, all the different ascendancies. RF on totems, I don't know, like RF in his ass.
In complete contrast, we have a man who's suggesting playing Incinerate. And if you know anything about Incinerate, it's a skill that requires you to stand still in order to do damage. It is fundamentally flawed at the core, and so is the mind of this individual for suggesting Incinerate. I almost don't even want to say his name, but it starts with Captain and ends with Moron. Now let's move on. Next up, we have a bit of a sob story. John Rowe, one of our favorite GGG snitches, is actually not going to be with us on League Start. From what I've heard from inside cat sources, he is currently in Disneyland taking pictures for an Instagram model. He's the guy taking the pictures while we are all going to be enjoying League Start. This is simply just a shout out to the GGG snitch for missing League Start to take pictures. It's a little weird, and quite frankly, we all need to question the mentality of that man. If you see a guide from him,
wait, why is he not playing League Start? I don't understand. Why would you not play League Start? Like, why would you not play League Start? This is the best time to play PoE. Like, literally the best time to play PoE. Bro, plan your vacation anytime but League Start. Like, literally, have your vacation any other time except League Start. There's like 2 days where it's League Start, and the rest are not League Start. So you're talking 6 days a year. It's like 350 days or some shit that you could choose otherwise. What the fuck? You had a kid born when the WoW was released? Yeah, and I still played the shit out of the game, bitch. What?
Just know that's a guy who thinks taking pictures in Disneyland for Instagram is better than doing League Start. Following Jung, we have Garatha, a man who we'd normally call out for copying his own homework 4 times. But there's an even worse sin this man has committed. He is suggesting we should play Spark, even though there was a direct nerf in the patch notes that said, and I quote, Spark is no longer viable. That's what the patch notes said. And he simply just didn't read it. This is a classic scenario of a PoE player who can't read. Once again, we are finding these people springing up everywhere. I'm not sure what PoE does to reading comprehension, but clearly it is no longer a skill Garatha possesses. This is bait, folks. Do not fall for it. Following Garatha, we have Kobe Black Mamba, a man who seems to be suggesting that Venom Gyre crit-based Deadeye is a good idea. Now, this would be a good idea if you can swipe your credit card to pay for all the gear Kobe's going to have on day 1. This is a scenario where strictly we have to label this as RMT bait. He's looking for people willing to swipe their credit card to be able to afford the gear he's going to have by day 2. Simply put, I do not recommend this build, people, because let's be honest, we're not going to be able to afford it unless we get a little bit of extra help from some questionable websites, if you know what I mean. Speaking of needing help, I need help understanding why hardcore players insist on playing builds that have way too many buttons and are completely unfun to play. DSLE is suggesting that Blade Blast is a good idea. Now, it might be powerful, but have you considered picking a skill that doesn't feel terrible to play? That's all we really have to say at the Bait or No Bait team. This is clearly bait because it will destroy your fingers, and I do not recommend it. And as our final story of the day, Dirty Dan, as always, a reliable source for good builds. Now, I would suggest you go and type in PoE Dan 79 into the import character section. Unfortunately, that was before I heard about this story. Tie Killer, a streamer Dirty Dan enjoys and was chatting in his stream once. And then what happened? None other than Path of Math himself came in and one-tapped Dirty Dan with a one-shot kill. Now, usually I would think...
Wait, what the fuck? Path of Math killed Dan?
Dirty Dan makes good builds, and he doesn't die in one shot. But Path of Math waved a few dollar bills in front of Tai Killer, and next thing you know, Dirty Dan permabanned. And not only did Path of Math one-shot Dirty Dan, he also one-shot Rutu. So going forward, if you think Dirty Dan and Rutu make good builds, just know they got one-tapped by Path of Math on his day off, like it was nothing. All along, we thought he made the glass cannons, but really, the true glass cannon builds were by Rutu and Dirty Dan, because how could they not take one hit from a guy that has a few dollar bills in Tai Killer's chat? As always, I had a lot of fun making this video. I probably didn't do my best this time. I was struggling with some writer's block. Hopefully you guys still enjoyed the video. Hopefully it gets you excited for the league start. And may RNG be with you guys when you do the Crucible League to find the best in slot trees for your build. Good luck out there, Exiles, and peace out.
It's this video, guys. If you want to upload this video and make a comment and things, there's the video. The niche, ultra niche PoE video that releases at the start of every league about baits and not baits. It's good content.